Matt Scratch here to answer the age-old question, is a PT Cruiser simply a neon in disguise, or is it something more? So to help me answer this question, I gathered my 2000 Dodge Neon and my dad's 2005 Chrysler PT Cruiser. Okay, so I got the Neon jacked up nice and high here, and I just wanted to show you some of the differences. Now the main difference that you're going to see visually is this frame rail section that leads back. It's a lot more beefy looking on the PT Cruiser, and it also comes back a lot further. Another difference is the front subframe has an extra fastener point that comes back to this portion of the torque box on the PT Cruiser. So the torque box is also completely different. So here you can clearly see the Neon uses a fully independent rear suspension. When we crawl under the back of the PT Cruiser, you'll notice that it uses a solid axle. And that's only the tip of the iceberg. Almost everything back here is completely different on the Neon compared to the PT Cruiser. So here we go under the PT Cruiser. You can see the difference clearly. You can see how much wider that main beam is. And it comes all the way back, almost to the trailing arms leading to the back axle. Now you can see this extra fastening point. This is what I was talking about with the K-frame. It's easy to see the difference with this solid axle Watts link setup on the rear of the PT Cruiser. Also has coil springs and shocks as opposed to the struts on the fully independent rear suspension of the Neon. The solid axle does offer better on-road handling characteristics, but unfortunately it does hinder ground clearance and can be a bit of a nuisance in a snowy climate where you often have to drive through deeper snow. This is the lowest point on the car and often hangs up. So on the Neon there is actually a spare tire well in the trunk, but in the PT Cruiser there's this undercarriage rack with a crank down nut in the door sill of the rear hatch to lower it. It actually works quite effectively, but it's another difference from the Neon for sure. So here for your back-to-back comparison, you can clearly see that the strut tower is sitting closer to the firewall. The firewall's a completely different shape, and all this underbody structure in here is completely different as well. The core support is completely different, and the general shape of the car is completely different. Although the PT Cruiser does share a few parts with the Neon under the hood, such as these motor mounts and this bracket setup, the bulk of this under hood structure is completely unique to the PT Cruiser, including the entire core support. Most of the strut tower shape, everything is completely different. You can clearly see how the upper structure is there. It's very unique to the PT Cruisers actually. Now the Neon does share front suspension components with the PT Cruiser. The CV axles, the hub and the spindle assembly will swap directly to PT Cruiser. The general structure back in here does look quite similar, but of course the final bit at the front of the car that you can't see because of the wheel liner is different on the PT. Here's your direct comparison on the PT. I apologize for the cars being muddy. So I actually have this cut in half PT Cruiser in my shop, and I'm so sorry, but I'm just not willing to cut my Neon in half to show you the difference. But I figured I'd show you the end view of those beams that I was showing you, and of the rocker panels. The rocker panels are a completely different shape than the Neons as well, and you can see there's a lot of extra structure here over a Neon. That's the basic difference. So one other clue that these cars are their own platform is the fact that the Neon has a 105-inch wheelbase versus the PT's 103-inch wheelbase. So although the initial prototypes of the PT Cruiser were based on the Neon platform, the ultimate production PT was not. It was on its own platform and it shared only a few parts with the Neon, so it is its own car. Thanks for watching Matt's Garage. Don't forget to subscribe. So just a quick note here, guys, I wouldn't recommend you prop up your car in this manner to work under it. I'm not actually crawling under these cars, I'm just holding the camera under them, and that's why I have them propped up with just jacks. If I was working under it, I'd definitely have some blocking or jack stands or something under there.